Vincent Van Gogh, people told him, you can't be a great painter, you only have one ear. You know what he said? I can't hear you.
Listening to Sippin' Sports, a Phillies sports talk morning show with KJ and Dalt. Proudly powered by 302 Birds. Let's take it to the show.
It's been a long time coming, baby. Oh, yeah. Spring training's back. Get hyped up. Phillies down in Florida, 1 o'clock, going up against the Blue Jays. You got to get hyped for it. You got to be ready because it feels like in this city, our heartbeat relies on two teams specifically. I'm talking about the Phillies, the Fightins, and I'm talking about, of course, the Eagles. I even put on my golf shirt for you guys today. All right, so that's worth a like. Drop a comment, and mainly, if you want to call into the show, 302-316-4848. I didn't even realize I had that lower third of AJ up, but yeah, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking a little bit about AJ Brown. We're going to be talking about the Philadelphia Phillies in spring training. We're going to be talking about Kyle Pitts rumors and him potentially coming to the Eagles, whether or not that would be a good fit, where that could all go. And last but not least, yes, we're going to do a free agency wish list. But just a little bit of preview on the AJ Brown thing and some context. So if you guys didn't see, AJ Brown went on to a Patriots podcast, and I have no problem with that, right? Like, do your thing, do what you want, whatever. But they asked him, they said, are you a Patriot, once a Patriot, always Patriot, or some shit like that. And you got to love AJ's response, right? AJ literally goes, and I think that wink was a little bit too much. But like I said, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about whatever you guys got on your mind. I want you to call into the show. Be a part of 302 Birds. That number is 302-316-4848. That's 302-316-4848. Hope to see you call in. But it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great morning. Welcome to the Sippin' Sports podcast. Of course, powered by our Ballpark Tommy's Caramel Cup of Coffee. If you guys haven't picked it up from the Burnt Coffee Company, you can get it on their website. It's delicious. It's great. And you'll be supporting your boys at 302 Birds. Who knows? I'm going to be trying to work on a little cup of coffee sometime here soon in the near future. But like I said, I want to hear that phone ring. I want to see you guys call onto the show. But before all that, I mean, you can call in now if you want. I'd love to talk to you. But the Phillies play baseball today, everybody. Let me repeat that. Let me scream it to my neighbors. The Phillies play baseball today, right? Like, that's how it feels. Everybody's hyped up. Everybody's excited because this is a baseball city. This is a football city. No offense to the Flyers. No offense to the Sixers. Maybe the Flyers used to be a little bit better. But everybody is mainly paying attention to what the Eagles are doing and what the Phillies are doing. So it all starts today. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I got no fucking faith in this team. I really don't. I mean, the Phillies have let us down time after time, again and again. So going into this year, I am not going in with any expectations. I'm not going in with any hopes because I don't want my heart broken. That's what the Phillies have done year after year, breaking hearts. And it's frustrating, right? You look at this team, you look at this roster. Geez, you look at this payroll. They should be able to go further. They should be able to perform better. And they don't. And as a fan, there's nothing more frustrating than looking at a team that has all the potential in the world, rather has had all the potential in the world, and hasn't been able to put it together. That's where I'm the most frustrated is you have Bryce Harper. You have Kyle Schwarber, who's at the peak of his career, you could argue. You have Trey Turner, who you bring in, who I know wasn't what he was supposed to be, right? The daycare was supposed to step up at another level, and they haven't, right? They haven't. It's frustrating. It sucks, but it is what it is. It's life. So the Phillies need to figure out a way this season to get their act together and figure out, all right, like where is our end goal, right? Like, because they say the World Series every year, and of course that's the end goal, but I'm tired of them just being like, yeah, we're going to make the World Series, and then they don't. Like, realistically, out of not the first round, that's an unacceptable answer. Like, if the Phillies made it to the World Series this year, of course, I'd be upset if they lost. But if they at least made it to the World Series, I'd be like, you know what? This team has some fight. They've made the playoffs. Maybe the past couple of years, they just couldn't put it together. They go this year. And if they win the World Series, no doubt, they know what they're doing. But if they at least go to the World Series, I think that that's a win. If they even go to the NLCS, I think that that's a win. But where is that floor for, okay, if we don't reach this point, Dave Dombrowski's out of here. Rob Thompson, you're on thin ice. You're out of here. It's no exceptions, like Jordan's saying. No exceptions, no expectations as well. But also like no exceptions. I have no expectations as a fan, but I also have no exception for after this year. If it goes awry again, you need to make some serious changes. And it's not with Bryce Harper, right? It's probably not with the roster. It's probably with leadership. So it'll be interesting to see. What's up, Dennis? How you doing? They need to not play for the bye week. Are you talking about the Sixers? But yeah, I mean, we'll see where they go. It'll be an interesting season for the Phillies. If anybody's down at spring training today, say what's up. Send us some pictures. Send us some videos. Call into the show if you're watching. I'd love to hear from you. KJ McCoy, actually, from the show, will be down in Clearwater tomorrow. He'll be in Florida. So if anybody will be in Florida tomorrow, say what's up. Get a picture with your boy. I know he would appreciate that because Clearwater's awesome. If any of you guys have ever went, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the vibes are immaculate down there. It's a different world. I'm going to get KJ to actually do a stadium review because him and I were talking about it, and KJ had a really good comparison. He said, Baycare Ballpark, which is where the Phillies play in the Clearwater Threshers, is a lot like a Wildwood Stadium or like the Wildwood Boardwalk. And I think that that's such a great comparison. You got Manco and Manco, you got Chickies and Pete's, you got a couple other food spots, you got the Frenchies, and then you got the Berm where you can go sit. It's a really cool ballpark, the way that they did it. It's not the biggest ballpark. It's definitely a minor league stadium, but who cares? You know what I mean? Like that's what they do. That's what the spring training's for. They draw a crowd. People are going to go out. They're going to hopefully see Harper. They're hopefully going to see some other guys. I'll be watching today at 1 o'clock. Hopefully you guys will. And hopefully this Phillies team can get tuned up throughout spring training, right? Like they didn't make a ton of additions that we wanted them to. We even hear, speaking of, let me take a sip before I talk about this. This was interesting. Devin Caney from 94 WIP came out and said that apparently the Phillies kicked the tires on the idea of bringing back Rhys Hoskins. Bryce Harper was even in support of it. Of course he was. He loves Rhys. Well, who wouldn't be? The problem was the organization and Dave Dombrowski were the one that said, you know what? This is probably not a good idea. We're not going to do this. Another time I'm really frustrated with Dave. And I know that the Phillies already have a first baseman, but I feel like between Rhys, Harper, and Bohm, you have a really good baseman trio. Stott, you can leave at second or trade Bohm. Get Bohm out of here. And you also have Aiden Miller, who's going to look to come up. I mean, you can put him in the outfield. You can put some of those guys in the outfield too. But where they're best at is on base. So I really, really want to see the Phillies kind of like take that step forward because I'm frustrated that they didn't bring back Rhys Hoskins. I think Rhys Hoskins would have been awesome for this batting lineup offensively. Like, Rhys brings a different spark to the Phillies, a spark that they haven't had since he left, right? Like, we were all so sad when Rhys Hoskins left. And I think it's fair to say that the Phillies haven't had that same spark since. But we got Gavin Sweeney calling on the show. Thank you, Gavin. How you doing, Gavin?
Dalt, how we doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm ready for spring training, but moreover, I want to hear how you're feeling about spring training. Excited.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, if you're a Phillies fan right now, I know, the vibes are not ideal heading into the actual season, but spring training, I think a lot of people overlook it because it is a really important time as a fan because you get to see the rookies, you get to see the pitchers and how they're looking. And again, like you get to see Justin Crawford. He's supposed to be up. You get to see Aiden Miller. You get to see Andrew Painter coming off of his, Tommy John surgery from 2 years ago. You get to see his full fastball back. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Now, here's what I was just talking about. I'd love to get your opinion on. We saw the Devin Caney story where apparently the Phillies kicked the tires on Rhys Hoskins and Dave Dombrowski was the final say, saying no. Do you think that was a wise move? Would you have liked to see Rhys come back? How you feeling about all that?
Honestly, man, I would want to see it. I mean, why not? I mean, what do they have to lose?
Right.
You didn't have the ideal offseason you wanted. So at this point, what do you have to lose? It's not like you're going to pay Rhys Hoskins $20 million. You're going to give him a very team-friendly deal, like a 1 year, $3.2 million, maybe $5 million at the most. And Rhys would just have to accept that he wouldn't be starting. He would be a bench bat. And that's okay. If he's a bench bat and we have him for vibes, that's fine with me. The only way he would start is if you put Harper back in the outfield, because that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. Harper is the first baseman. I mean, back-to-back years, he was a Gold Glove nominee. You're not going to move him back to the outfield because of his arm. You could put Schwarber into the outfield and make Rhys your DH. I don't know if the Phillies would do that. I mean, they did it in 22, of course, but they've really valued defense over the past couple seasons to where I don't think they're even going to want to put Schwarber back in the outfield. So Rhys would ultimately be a bench bat and more just for vibes. But why not? You didn't have the ideal offseason. Why not just bring him in for 1 year?
I think, and also, and this is what I was talking about, things haven't really gone right since Rhys left. When Rhys was here in 2022, a lot of people forget Rhys was kind of that's Kelsey talks about it, and I talk about it a lot on this podcast. I'm going to say the quote for the probably 90th time, but this team needs somebody with some guts, and some balls. When all goes bad with this team, it goes bad. And there's nobody that just can step up and be vibes. Be that guy that's just you know what? No, we're not going to be down in the dumps today. We're going to figure this shit out, and we're going to go win this game. And I love Bryce Harper, but unfortunately, it can't always be on his shoulders either. There has to be a guy. Castellanos had a couple moments, but he was just too inconsistent. And when it was bad with Casty, it was really bad. So like you said, what do they have to lose? They had a shitty offseason. Why not just bring him back on a 1 year deal, see how it goes, and try it? It's not like there's anybody else out there really that they want. It's they have the money. I don't understand why they wouldn't at least kick the tires on bringing him back for a year, especially if Bryce Harper was backing it. That's kind of the part that irks me the most, right? If it was just fans like me and you, Gavin, talking about it, whatever, right? Okay, the Phillies can say whatever to us. But if Bryce Harper, the number one guy on your payroll, your number one investment, your number one player, the face of the organization is looking at saying, hey, I want this guy on my team. And you're like, hey, well, there's definitely something going on there. I'll say that.
100%, man. I agree. Like we've said, what do they have to lose? The Dodgers are going to repeat. Their team is unbelievable and projected. They're probably going to repeat. The lockout could be a thing that is going to happen. So at this point, what do you have to lose? You can't get a huge superstar cleanup hitter now. You can't get a huge power hitter now. They're all gone. You had you had your chance at the Bichette and didn't get it. Next year's free agency isn't what it was for this year. So at this point, they're either going to be at a situation where we're at the All-Star break. They're 8 games above 500, and then we trade for another mid outfield and then maybe a mid pitcher. That's the pattern they've had over the past couple seasons. So yeah, but yeah, why not bring Reese back? I mean, again, just why not?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. I think, and it would just be so good for this team's vibe. And I think that that's probably why Bryce Harper was back in it. Of course, Bryce Harper isn't paying the guy, right? But at the same time, I feel like if Bryce Harper's saying it, he's saying it because he means it. And I don't know. I'm a little bit frustrated with what I've seen from Dave. And when that story came out, I was a little bit more frustrated than I was. So it's like, oh my gosh,
sure.
where's this team headed?
And a lot of people forget, but Rhys Hoskins was the one who was the first Eagle for the Phillies to move to sign Bryce. I mean, Rhys Hoskins wanted the Phillies to sign Bryce Harper. He was like the first person out of the clubhouse who said, "I want that guy." And again, Rhys Hoskins, let Bryce take over first base. You know what I mean? There's things that people don't know about that Rhys has done for Harper, and I'm not saying Harper owes him it. But again, if Harper is saying, "Listen, we should bring Rhys back on a 1-year deal, not a lot of money," why not do it? Like, you have the money. You offered Bo Bichette $200 million. Like, you're telling me you can't cough up 3 or 5 mil?
Yeah, 100%, man. I think the way that the whole Bichette thing went, I don't think that that's all on Dave. It certainly is partly on Dave, because I know that was kind of like a wet bag, right? We had the deal done.
Yeah.
He went to the Mets, deal fell through. Nobody can control that. But it's like, how did you recover, right? Like Rocky says, not to be cheesy, but it's not about how hard you can get hit. It's about how hard you can get back up. And we didn't get the fuck back up, right? Like we just laid there and wallowed in it. And that's really what kind of, like, same thing. Signing Rhys Hoskins would have been getting back up and hitting hard. Like that would have been like, all right, you know what? This team's at least trying. And I feel like the Phillies have tried in the past, but when they've tried, it hasn't worked out. And then in recent years, the Phillies aren't really trying. They're just trying to work with the team that they have. And it's like, what the hell are we doing here? Right? Like, what are we doing? And something's got to change. And if they go out and win the World Series this year with this team, by all means, right? Like, I'll eat my hat. I'll be the first person to say I'm wrong. And I think you would too. We all would be. Well, that's the best case scenario. But that's probably not going to happen from what we've seen. So this team really needs to figure it out, because I'll tell you what, Gavin, on a scale of 1 to 10, how upset would you be if Bryce Harper ends his career with this team or departs this team and no World Series titles come out of it?
10.
Yeah.
10.
Same. I agree.
That would not be good, man. I do have to head out, though. I had to go do a couple things. But, man, I just wanted to say before I leave, one name to look out for spring training, just from what I've heard from people that have told me info about this guy. A lot of the focus is on Crawford because he's going to make the opening day. Painter's probably going to make the opening day. Aiden Miller, watch out for Miller, okay? He is, from what I was told, his prospect level and his development is equivalent to what Alex Bregman was when he was his age.
Wow.
Aiden Miller, yeah. There was a Phillies insider in the front office who said that Aiden Miller is the best prospect they've drafted since Mike Schmidt. Okay.
I heard Larry Boa raving about him, and now hearing all these things, it's pretty exciting. I'll ask you this, Gavin, before you leave too. Thank you for calling in, man. First off, I appreciate you as always. If you guys don't, please give Gavin a follow. Congratulations, by the way, on your new opportunity. So I'll leave you with this twofold question. Number one, if you could tell everybody about your new opportunity and what you're doing and where they could find you. And then number two, out of those 3 players in Aiden Miller, Painter, and Crawford, which one are you the most excited to see?
Yeah, man. Of course, man. I appreciate, I love calling in and talking with you. So I'm officially a Phillies contributor and beat writer for a publication named Last Word on Sports. They're an independent publication that covers all sports, and you get set in a specific department and category, and then you write with them. And I was lucky enough to have the chance to write with some Phillies insiders for that publication. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it goes well. But yeah, you can check out their Twitter, Last Word on Sports, and my Twitter, gsweens09. You can see all my stuff on there. But for the three guys, man, I would honestly say Aiden Miller. I would say the hype around Aiden Miller is so surreal, and there's so many high expectations on this kid that is probably the name you have to pay attention to, especially since Alec Boehm is on a contract year and he probably won't return next year. Aiden Miller would be your third baseman. So he's the guy you got to watch for.
21 years old, born in 2004. Going to be fun to see how this kid develops. Gavin, thank you very much for calling on the show. As always, man, I hope you have a great Saturday.
You too, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Great call in right there. Aiden Miller, like Gavin said, that's the name to look out for. Going to be fun watching this kid this year. Born in Trinity, Florida, 6'1". And like he said, the whole Boehm situation is very interesting because I think Boehm may have started to develop to hate this place, but I think he's actually learned to love this place. So, a couple of reasons. Number one, his boys are all here. He loves the Phillies now. Like the team, Marsh, the guys that are on the roster right now, they're all friends. He loves them. Number two, romantically, his girlfriend is from around here. I'm pretty sure she's a Phillies fan. So that's going to go into play. I don't think Boehm is going to want to leave Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is going to want to cut ties with Boehm, if that makes any sense. Like the way that Boehm has kind of reacted over the past 2-3 years, especially years, if we'll say last year's year 1, year 2, year 3, so on, year 2 and 3, not last year, but the 2 years before, he really had a lot of developing to do mentally. Like when he would strike out, the freakouts, the mistakes that were his fault. I was really kind of disappointed with the way that Alec Boehm developed professionally because the Phillies had a lot invested in this kid from Nebraska, right? But I'll say Boehm has taken a turn for the better. I think last season was a good one. Of course, there was the season 2 years ago, I guess, where he made the All-Star. But here's my problem with that year, and this is why I was frustrated with it. It was great to start off, but after the All-Star, he kind of lost his stride. And he kind of got in his own head a little bit. And if Alec Boehm can go out there on a contract year and not be in his own head and just play baseball and knock the shit out of that ball and just play freely, it's going to be a great year for him. Good things are going to happen. But if he doesn't, the Phillies have a very good backup plan and future ahead with Aiden Miller. Because Aiden Miller's hungry. That young buck's going to want to eat. He's going to want to play. He's going to want to earn his roster spot, and he's going to want to be here. And Philadelphia is going to want to only get younger as a team, too. So I think a lot of Phillies fans are going to be in support of Miller. Not that Boehm hasn't played an essential role and Boehm's been fun, but I think that Miller will kind of be the future of that position for the Phillies long term. So at this point, 21 years old, why not just let him start to develop and see where it goes? So that's how I'm feeling about the Phillies spring training. If anybody else wants to call in, that number's open. That's 302-316-4848. But let's talk about A.J. Brown a little bit and this whole situation. So if you guys didn't know, like I said earlier in the show, A.J. Brown goes onto a Patriots podcast and basically says a couple of things. Doesn't say anything, rather, I should say, but sometimes a picture or a facial communication is worth 1,000 words. So he was asked a question along the lines of once a Patriot, always a Patriot. Because if you guys didn't know, A.J. Brown grew up a Patriots fan. And I swear to God, he looks at the camera and he goes and winks at it. And it's like, man, what are you doing? He doesn't say anything else. He just winks and then he laughs and he said psych null or something like that. But you got to understand when you're going on that platform, like everybody in Philadelphia is going to be watching that podcast and everybody in New England. Everybody in New England's going to get hype and start a story about it saying, wow, okay, we could potentially get A.J. Brown. Everybody in Philadelphia is going to be going off saying, what is this guy doing? You're supposed to be a Philadelphia Eagle. You're supposed to be more professional than this, and you're not. And that's where I'm frustrated. I think a lot of people are pretty much done with A.J. Brown. Was listening to 94 WIP yesterday, and the majority of people that were calling into the show were like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to be around him anymore. I think he's a locker room cancer. And because he wanted to be traded last year, a fair amount of people want him out of here. And I get that, right? Like, here's the reason why. If you don't want to be here, we don't want you here, right? Like, if you don't want to be here, it's got to be a two-way street. You got to want to be here for Philadelphia fans to want you here. If you want to be here all day, we'll support you, we'll embrace you, even when you do drop it 3 times in a playoff game, right? Like, come on in. Let's go. But when you say that you requested a trade, or not you, someone else, said that there was a trade requested 3 times throughout the season, I understand where a lot of Eagles fans are coming from with their frustration and not wanting you to be here. I totally resonate with that and get that. Because why would you want somebody on your team that doesn't want to be here? You're not going to be getting full maximum effort, right? Like, if you're not going to want to be here, you're not going to sit here and tell me that you're going to play to your full potential and you're going to play to your best ability. And if that's the case, I don't want you here, frankly. I want you out. Hit the deck. See ya. It's been real. But if I had the choice to trade A.J. Brown or not trade A.J. Brown, I want it, considering if he wanted to be here or not. I would sit down with AJ. I would not air it out to the public. If I was the Eagles organization, I'd say, what do you want, AJ? What do you really want? Do you want to be here or do you not want to be here? You tell me. And whatever you want, we'll make it happen. It will be amazing either way. You're either going to get shipped out and you're going to be happier, or you're going to stay and we're going to make it work and it's going to go awesome because you're best friends with Jalen Hurts. You've won a Super Bowl here. This is your team. This is your city. Let's figure it out. That's exactly how I would say it. And we'd see how A.J. Brown takes it. I think that's a honest, thoughtful way to put it. I think that's the truth. But at the same time, you got to have some accountability as a man. You got to have some accountability as a person. And if you don't, maybe that's a good thing for the Eagles that they got rid of him when they did. Got a Super Bowl with him. Was great. Rode that pony as long as they could. And now they got to go find somebody else. But they still got Devontae Smith. You know, things could be worse. But that's how I feel about the whole situation there. Moving along now to Kyle Pitts. This is an interesting rumor. The Kyle Pitts rumor is heating up more and more. On our main show, I was talking a lot about Isaiah Likely and how I think Isaiah Likely would be great if the Eagles kept Dallas Goedert and then signed Isaiah Likely in addition and ran a 2 tight end set. And we're also able to block for Saquon Barkley. How awesome I think that would go. But even if they don't re-sign Goddard, they have an option now to bring in Pitts or Likely or both, right? Like, go back to that tight end set with Pitts and Likely in Philadelphia. That would be nasty. That would be really good. I think that would be a really good move for the Eagles to consider. But it's at the end of the day, ultimately up to the Philadelphia Eagles what direction they would like to go with this. But I do think that they should highly consider bringing in Kyle Pitts. When you think about Kyle Pitts coming out of college and the potential that he had and the way that people talked about him, that he would be one of the best tight ends of all time, that he could even be converted to wide receiver potentially. Like, he was a freak of nature. And I think that the Eagles should highly consider bringing him in because I don't think that the Falcons utilized him correctly. And I also don't think that the Falcons have had consistency at the quarterback position the past couple of years. I think that's kind of unfair to Kyle Pitts. So if Kyle Pitts came to Philadelphia, man, I'd be excited. I'd be hype as hell. And I don't know. I might have to consider getting that jersey because that would be a very good fit, I think, for this team. And I think a good security blanket for Jalen Hurts. And I think that Kyle would like playing here. I think all in all, it would be a good move. And now moving on to our last topic. If anybody wants to call into the show right now is your last chance. It's that last call. Just me on the show today, so that's why I'm cutting a little bit shorter because I'm the only one on here. I've just been talking for about a half hour straight. Thank you to Gavin for calling in. But free agency wish list. Who do we want in the free agency? I'll say this. I really want Mekhi Becton. I want Mekhi Becton to come back. I feel like that would solve that problem of right guard at least for a year or two, and they can draft somebody this year, but they don't have to spend the first 2 first-round picks on an offensive lineman. If they don't bring Mekhi Becton back, they pretty much have to spend the 2 first-round picks on linemen back-to-back, first and second round. If they do bring Mekhi back, that makes things very, very interesting to where it's like, okay, you have this guard with experience on the Super Bowl team, knows how to play. I think Mekhi would have been way more prone to come back if Stoutland would have been here still. But at the same time, I would really like to see him just come in and fix that puzzle piece. I'd also like to see probably Blankenship brought back. If I had to pick between Nakobe Dean, Blankenship, and Jalen Phillips, I'd probably pick Jalen Phillips 1, Blankenship 2. But if I could pick 2 out of the 3, I'm hands down going to keep Blankenship and I'm going to keep Jalen Phillips. The Eagles don't really have another option at safety, as much as I hate to say it. And I think that Reed has earned his contract, right? Reed has pretty much done everything that the Philadelphia Eagles have asked him. Middle Tennessee, I'm pretty sure undrafted, if not 6th-round draft pick. Nobody knew who this guy was, and he has earned it every step of the way throughout his career. I love Reed Blankenship, and I think a lot of you guys do too. The only person in the world I know that doesn't like Reed Blankenship is freaking Dennis. So I think at the end of the day, I really can't wait to see Reed develop and where he goes from here. But I think it would be stupid if the Eagles let him go because I think wherever Reed goes, he's going to be a great player. And I think he's going to make a big impact for a team. And I think he's also earned his stripes. I wasn't necessarily sure about Reed after we won the Super Bowl, but after this season, after watching Reed play, after watching Reed lead this defense, after watching Reed step up and, just continue to lead in this locker room when things weren't going the team's way, playing hard, being a good guy, playing a good face, being a team guy, I love Reed Blankenship, and there's no reason that this team shouldn't bring him back. Organization dude, smart, good head on his shoulders, isn't going to cause you a lot of problems, and all in all, just everything you want in a player. So I think that the Eagles would be very wise to bring back Reed Blankenship. But Jalen Phillips as well. Jalen Phillips will be a great player, had a great impact on this team. They need to get younger at edge rusher. When he first came out, I think it was FSU, if not Boston College. I think FSU, though. No, maybe it was Boston College. But regardless, when he came out, he was a stud. No, wait, was it Miami? Let me look it up. Now I want to know. Hold on. Wow, he went to University of California, UCLA. I did not know that. Wow. I had no clue. Oh, he was at University of Miami. He transferred. That was it. That was where I remember seeing him. Okay. Got it now. So he went to UCLA, transferred to Miami, was drafted by the Dolphins, and now is a Philadelphia Eagle. Look, give this kid a chance. Give him more time. He plays hard. He's happy to be here. He said that Philadelphia was pretty much his dream scenario. Give it time. I think Jalen Phillips would be a great future, long-term Philadelphia Eagle. You need guys like that are going to play hard, are going to have a great attitude, and are going to want to be here. At the end of the day, give me guys that want to be here and get excited about becoming a Philadelphia Eagle. Those guys are at the top of my free agency wish list. If you guys have anybody, let me know in the comments. Who is yours? I know Jaden dropped some in. Jaden, thank you for being here. Thank you for producing our show. Shout out to our producer, Jaden, backstage. I think that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. A little bit shorter of a show, but it's just me on here. That's why. But if you guys haven't, please be sure to like. Please be sure to comment. Please be sure to subscribe. And if you guys haven't, get out the Balboa Steaks today, the presenting sponsor of 302 Birds. Get a cheesesteak, watch the Phillies spring training game, because that's probably what I'll be doing. Maybe I'll get a roast pork too. Who knows? But other than that, hope everybody has a great and safe weekend. And I will see you guys next week on the Sippin' Sports Podcast.
Listening to Sippin' Sports, a Phillies sports talk morning show with KJ